What's going on, guys? It's Vintage Brian here, and we're back to do yet another video where I'm going to do part 2 of showing you guys my entire sneaker collection. So this week, we're going to focus on the Air Jordan 3s. Okay, so we're back with another glimpse into my personal sneaker collection. Of course, this video is going to be centered around the Air Jordan 3s, but I did want to go ahead and put my Air Jordan 2s into this video because I only have 2 pairs of Jordan 2s. So I didn't really want to dedicate an entire video to just 2 pairs of shoes. I figured I'd tag them along in this video and then move on to the Jordan 3s. Now, with Jordan 2s, I only have 2 pairs of sneakers. However, with the Jordan 3s, I have about 22 pairs of Jordan 3s.
Oh my God! Wow!
It's not as many pairs as my Jordan 1s, but if there's any shoe I wear often like the Jordan 1s, it's the Jordan 3s. So anytime that they come up with a new colorway that I think looks good on the Jordan 3, I go ahead and pick it up because I do wear them often enough to go ahead and, cycle through all the Jordan 3s that I have. So without further ado, the first pair of Air Jordan 2s is the Air Jordan 2 Lucky Green. Now this pair I referenced in my last video when I put this alongside the Air Jordan 1 Lucky Green. Dope colorway, haven't worn it yet, but I have got it laced. Just waiting for the right fit. And then I have the Air Jordan 2 Chicago. Now I picked this up for right around $100. They were sitting at Foot Locker, and I think I had a gift card or something like that. So I bought these for under retail. It's an OG colorway. Like I said, I just don't wear my Air Jordan 2s, so I don't know when I'll wear this shoe. However, I'm glad I have it in the collection because it is an OG colorway. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have for Air Jordan 2s. So let's go ahead and focus on the Air Jordan 3s. Now for my first pair of Air Jordan 3s, it's going to be the Air Jordan 3 88 Dunk Contest. Now, this is an Air Jordan 3 white cement that got the Nike Air treatment back in 2013. So this shoe is already 10 years old. And what made this shoe really special was that it had really good materials for what was coming out at that time. And Nike Air really wasn't being featured on a lot of shoes. So this shoe has a lot of hype because it's an OG colorway with a Nike Air finish. Can't really go wrong with this pair. I'm glad to have it. For 10 years old, this shoe is holding up really well. Of course, I've put some nice wear in on it, but not really much to say on this shoe other than the fact that it has some really good materials. Now, pair number 2 is one of my personal favorites, the Air Jordan 3 Powder Blue. Now, the reason I love this shoe so much is because they went and put a blue that you really just don't get on a lot of Air Jordans, and they applied it with nubuck material. Most Jordan 3s come out with nice leather on them, or at least some mediocre leather. But this shoe features a nice nubuck that you can go ahead and run your finger across, so you already know that means that they're buttery smooth. And they went ahead and applied the blue onto the elephant print that's on the toe box and on the heel. And that's just something that they go ahead and do to kind of make this shoe stand out compared to other Air Jordan 3s. So having this shoe in the collection is just really dope. It can seem like a simple colorway at first, but realistically, I think they knocked it out of the park with this shoe. Now, pair number 3 is the Air Jordan 3 Red Cement. Now, you're probably looking at this shoe and thinking to yourself, this is a copy and paste of the white cement, but in red. And that's exactly what it is. That's it. It's just a red, white cement. But they did release 2 versions of this shoe, one that has Nike Air on the back heel and one that has Nike Shy on the back heel. Nike Shy being short for Nike Chicago. It was just a special version that they released of this shoe. Not really all that much hyped, but me being extra, I had to go ahead and grab this version of the shoe instead of the regular version. But where there's red, there's always going to be blue, which is why pair number 4 is the Air Jordan 3 Varsity Royal. And just like the red, it's just a blue version of the white cement 3. Not much to say here. They pretty much all have similar materials. And this one does have a Jordan symbol on the back. So not much else to say about this pair. You got your red, you got your blue. What else can you ask for? Now, pair number 5 is the Air Jordan 3 True Blue. Now, I actually am a really big fan of this colorway because it's similar to the white cement colorway, but with the blue accents, it does give you a little bit of a different way to wear this shoe. I like that they added the Nike Air on this release of the shoe. However, my biggest gripe with this shoe is the materials. I actually think that the materials on this release were pretty trash. When these dropped, they actually sat on shelves for a while. Like, I'm talking weeks. You can get these for a really good pair when they were sitting back in 2018, I believe. But of course, it's been about 5 years since they released, so you're gonna have to pay a resale for them now. I briefly talked about this shoe in my first ever YouTube video where I compared it against the Air Jordan 1 True Blue, so you can go ahead and check that out here. But yeah, like I said, materials are just kind of not there. Colorway is dope, and I hope that if they re-release it, that they fix the materials on it, because I would love to keep this shoe in the collection. But this release, I just don't know how much longer I'm going to have it in the collection, to be honest. Now, pair number 6 is the Air Jordan 3 Dark Mocha. And with this shoe, it's simple, but simple goes a long way. It's a white Jordan 3, which already makes it kind of, easy to wear. But then you add brown on it, which realistically in these days with, releases like the Travis Scott and the whole aged look, this is a color palette that a lot of people have in their overall closet, which makes this shoe really popular to go ahead and wear. And they very recently came out with a colorway similar to this, which is actually pair number 7, the Air Jordan 3 Neapolitan. Now, this shoe is pretty much exactly what you're getting with the Dark Mocha, but you're adding some pink on the midsole, a more aged look across the midsole, and some pink Jordan symbols on it. And in my opinion, I don't know what it is about this shoe, but I feel like it's better than the original. Some people may disagree with that, and this is a women's shoe, so you can't get it in every size, which means that people with bigger feet may have to still stick to the original Dark Mocha. But realistically, this is a clean colorway. The Dark Mocha is a clean colorway. I'm happy to have them both, because with the pink on here, you can kind of, spice up different outfits with each colorway, even though they're very similar. Now, pairs number 8 and 9, I want to just get out of the way early. I have a whole video dedicated to this shoe on my channel, so you can go ahead and click it right up here. But it's the Air Jordan 3 Reimagined. It's a double up. I did say in that video I wanted to get a double up, and I did secure it. So the Air Jordan 3 Reimagined. Not really much I want to say about this shoe in the video. It's just like the White Cement 3, and everything else I have to say about it is in that video. So go ahead and check that out. Now, pair number 10 is the Air Jordan 3 Denim. And similar to the Red Cements, this shoe had two versions that were released to the public. One which was mass produced, you can pretty much get it in any country, and one that was a Tokyo exclusive, which had the Japanese writing to replace Nike on the heel. Every other pair that was released to every other country just says Nike here. So of course I had to grab the pair that had the Japanese lettering because I'm extra, and pretty much also because it gives it a dope characteristic. I think that I've never really seen anything like that on any shoe at all. So the fact that this shoe had it, it grabbed my attention right away. I had to grab this release instead of the general release that was released everywhere else. And then on top of that, you have a dope denim on here that actually has an elephant print still on there. I just feel like they didn't really go lazy on this shoe. I feel like they could have just put denim on here. They didn't have to put the elephant print on here. And I feel like the fact that they went and put a see-through Jordan, which on camera is kind of hard to see. I'm going to grab a picture and put it right up here if I can find it. This having the Japanese lettering and then the regular pair having the Nike, it's just dope because you pretty much are putting the Jordan sign and the Nike sign on the heel. It's like the best of both worlds. You get dope materials, dope concepts, which pretty much just make this shoe stand out a lot, even though it looks like a basic colorway at first glance. Now, pair number 11 is actually a really dope pair in my opinion, and it's the Air Jordan 3 Patchwork. Now, as you can see, this shoe has multiple materials kind of scattered across the entire upper of the shoe. And then on the back, you actually have a material where they provide you with these Nike Air patches to go ahead and just pretty much stick them on there. So that way you can either have the Jordan symbol or the Nike Air symbol if you please. I think they could have implemented it a little better, maybe just having this whole tab be removable or something like that. But it's just such a dope concept to have because it just gives elements to the shoe that no other Air Jordan at all has ever really done. And then on top of that, they give you a couple different sets of laces. They give you an orange pair, a kind of black pair, and a tan pair of laces to really go ahead and wear the shoe in a variety of different ways. This shoe didn't really sell out when it came out, but ultimately they always do. and the fact that I have it is pretty dope. I got them for retail. I don't know how I feel about wearing the patch because I'm afraid of losing it, but overall, such a dope kind of idea that they had with the shoe, and I'm glad that I have it in the collection. Now, pair number 12 is just one of those sneakers that's wild enough for me to go ahead and want to buy them, and that's the Air Jordan 3 Animal Instinct 1.0. Now, when I bought these, what really stood out to me was the fact that the entire upper is made out of like fake fur material. But I just thought that they implemented the different animal prints in a really nice way. For some people, this shoe is just a little too much, and I don't wear them all the time, but to me, I think that they put the animal prints in certain areas where I think that they really work. And I'm a sucker for different materials, so having different materials on this shoe pretty much, kind of sold the shoe for me. Now, pair number 13 is honestly just one of those shoes that I bought because, well, when you have one, why not have the other? And that's the Air Jordan 3 Animal Instinct 2.0. Now, it's a similar concept to what you have with the other pair, except that this is all based off of leather prints. So a little more subtle. Of course, I had to be a little extra and give the yellow treatment on the laces. They gave you a black set of laces, a red set of laces, and a yellow set of laces. Um, the only thing I don't like about the shoe is that they didn't really paint the Jordan sign. I feel like you could have put some red or even just some black, and it would have been nice. But other than that, I mean, the tongue has print on it, and behind the tongue, it actually says Animal Instinct in some graffiti, which I think is dope. You don't really see that part of the shoe, but it's dope nonetheless. Um, Not a shoe I wear often, if at all, but it's just one of those things. I have the 1.0, so why not have the 2.0? Now, I don't really know how to pronounce the name of this next pair, but pair number 14 is the Air Jordan 3 Muslin. Now, when I got this shoe, I immediately thought it was kind of like an Air Jordan off-white collab. Now, I obviously knew it wasn't, but it gave me that vibe. If you've ever seen the Air Jordan 4 off-white, this colorway for whatever reason just kind of reminds me of that shoe. So it really just enticed me to want to buy the shoe. I love the canvas upper on the shoe. I like the gray hits that are suede on the toe box and on the heel. And then on the heel tab, I like how they added just the red here, the red accents on these little hoops here, and then the red accent on the tongue. Just overall, such a clean colorway. This is the only shoe that I think that the extra set of laces was kind of unnecessary. They gave kind of a off-white lace and then a gray lace to go with it. And I just feel like the off-white is just the perfect lace. You don't really need another color. Maybe you could do it with a red, but I think this is perfect just the way it is. Now, number 15 is the Air Jordan 3 Fire Red. And just like the name implies, this colorway is fire. All right, this is the latest release of this shoe, so they added Nike Air on the back. Now, with this being an OG colorway, it deserves to sport that Nike Air on the heel tab, and the materials on this release are awesome. I mean, really, they really have dropped this shoe plenty of times, and they found ways to go ahead and kind of just kill the materials on it. But this shoe really did impress me when I got it in hands. I had a double up, but I did sell the second pair. But it's just one of those colorways that I think is just super clean, and I'm happy to have in the collection. Now, number 16 is the Air Jordan 3 Pine Green. Now, when this colorway came out, it was heavily slept on, and in my opinion, it still is. We don't really get green on a lot of Jordan colorways, and I think that the way that they applied the colors onto this shoe is really nice. I love the high gloss finish on the green, and I love the fact that they gave us a nubuck material on the upper instead of the typical black tumbled leather that they normally give us. That's just a couple ways that they went and differentiated this shoe from other Air Jordan 3s. I like the gold trimming around the Air Jordan symbol on the tongue. No other gold needed on this shoe, so the fact that they just did that is just a nice way of making the Jordan sign pop, and that's pretty much it. Other than this, there's really no other colorways of Air Jordan 3s that have green other than the Lucky Greens that are dropping later this year. I will try and do a review for that if I can get that shoe for retail. But that's an all white with green colorway. I think that this colorway just looks a little cleaner. But we'll see what the materials look like on that shoe. Now, number 17 is a custom sneaker that has sentimental value to me. because it's a shoe I'm redoing for some friends of mine. A couple of years ago, my friends opened up a sneaker store called the Stash House, and for their grand opening, I actually gifted them a pair of this Air Jordan 3, but it actually had their store writing on it. It had the Puerto Rico flag and just a bunch of other elements to the shoe that was just so dope because it was their own one of one sneaker for their store. Now, they don't have that store anymore, and unfortunately, when they were open, they were broken into and they took this shoe from them, and I felt horrible about the situation, and I started to redo the shoe. Now they don't have the store open anymore, so I've lost a little bit of the ambition to go ahead and get the shoe out really quickly, but I am going to finish it because I do want them to have that, because it's kind of like memorabilia for when they did take that chance of opening that store. But yeah, it's sentimental value to me. I'm going to make sure I finish the shoe for them. Maybe I'll even make a video over it for you guys. But yeah, this is a custom sneaker. This is actually the red cement that I painted black. So just another little bit of tidbit on that. But yeah. Now, number 18 is the Air Jordan 3 Cool Gray. Now, when this shoe came out, I actually thought it was going to be a lot harder to get this shoe than it actually was. It had been almost 15 years since this shoe had actually released. So a lot of pairs were just ruined. People wanted to go ahead and get their hands on them again. But they did release a lot of pairs of this sneaker. And unfortunately, for all the hype that the shoe had, the materials just didn't live up to the hype. This shoe creased very easily. And overall, the colorway is still great. I love the shoe because of the colorway and because there's no way I'm paying the money that the original release actually costs. But you can't go wrong with the gray colorway. I like the subtle little hints of yellow or gold, if you want to call it that. And I like the red and the yellow lettering on the back heel. Other than that, though, not much to say about this colorway. I wish the materials were a little better, but still a dope colorway to have. Now, number 19 is the Air Jordan 3 Desert Elephant. Now, this shoe in hand did not impress me as much as I thought it would. The leather just really wasn't there. It's kind of more stiff. It feels kind of cheap, really. But they did do something really nice with the tongue, where they gave it a nice suede that's nice to the touch, and it's also like a really weird color. It's like tan, but also like peachish.
Peaches, 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 peaches.
So that's a pretty cool element. But I really do wish that they did what they did with the Denim 3s, where they gave the elephant print on these brown sections on the heel and on the toe box. It is slightly there, but it's not prominent enough for me to really like enjoy the elephant print. So not really much else I want to say about the shoe, other than the fact that they did add a nice little sole graphic in there. Not really going to be able to see it because it's inside the shoe, but yeah, nice little touch anyway. Now, number 20 is the Air Jordan 3 Black Cement Gold. And just like the name implies, it's a black cement 3 with some gold on it. The materials are a lot better than the last pair that I showed you guys. And I mean, can't really go wrong with this colorway. The gold, I still don't really know how I feel about it. I mean, realistically, I would have preferred if they just gave us another black cement release. But I always get the black cement 3s and then I end up selling them and I always end up regretting it. So I will end up getting the original black cement 3, and then I don't really know what I'm going to do with these. Oh, yeah, and a quick side note, I really don't like that they didn't paint the Jordan sign in the back here. Just seems like an afterthought. They did the same thing on Animal Instincts. It just doesn't take much to put color back here. So yeah, that sucks. Now, you know we had to run it back with number
21.
and that's the Air Jordan 3 Laser Orange. Now, this shoe is fire in my opinion. It's the perfect summer shoe, and summer's right around the corner. You can't go wrong with an all-white shoe, especially when you add just a little bit of color like this orange that's here on the midsole, on the Jordan sign, right behind the tongue, and on the hoops here. With this release, they just didn't go cheap with the materials, and it goes such a long way. This leather is beautiful when you're looking at it on your feet, even in hand. And then on top of that, it feels really good. Very comfortable sneaker. I could wear this shoe all day and realistically take them off my feet and my feet don't hurt. You know, I don't really get tired throughout the day. So really dope colorway. I'm glad that I have it. Let's move on to the next one. Now, similar to that pair, we have the final pair, number 22, the Air Jordan 3 UNC. Now, this is my favorite Air Jordan 3 in the collection. I love the materials. They are phenomenal. And it's a simple colorway just like the last one, but it's a perfect summer shoe nonetheless. I wear a lot of baby blue, so this is definitely going on foot. It's a very comfortable shoe. If you're even considering getting this shoe, definitely go ahead and cop it. You won't regret it. And I did do a little bit more of an in-depth review in my Air Jordan 5 UNC video, so you can definitely check that out if you want to see what else I have to say about this sneaker. But other than that, my favorite pair of Air Jordan 3s. And just like that, guys, we're done with another glimpse into my personal sneaker collection. If you made it this far, let me know down below in the comments what you thought was your favorite pair, and are there any of these shoes that you might actually want to consider buying for yourself now? This is Vintage Brian, and I'll catch you on the next video.